First, let's talk about what happened at that historic summit in Singapore. President Trump and Kim Jong-Un met on June 12th. And they had a lengthy meeting where they tried to talk about ways in which North Korea could get rid of all of its nuclear weapons. The handshake seen around the world. And the two of them issued a statement where they said that North Korea would agree to complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. People were skeptical about the statement that North Korea would completely denuclearize because they've hid their nuclear program for a number of years. There's no relations between the U.S. and North Korea. And Kim Jong-un hasn't shown any willingness to get rid of his nuclear weapons. President Trump came out of the summit very confident, and the next day he issued a tweet where he said that everyone should sleep well at night, that North Korea was no longer a nuclear threat. So 2 weeks later, NBC News reported on a U.S. intelligence assessment that said North Korea was continuing to produce nuclear fuel at these undisclosed sites. So that kind of threw everything into question, even more so about whether or not North Korea was eventually going to denuclearize. Still, on July 6th, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who President Trump had named his point person on talks with North Korea, flew to North Korea to meet with Kim Jong-un, essentially Kim Jong-un's right-hand man. It's not clear exactly what came out of that meeting because in the weeks following, things really slowed down and the North Koreans started to not be as responsive to the U.S. With talks not going so well, President Trump then cancels Mike Pompeo's trip to North Korea for a new round of negotiations. And in doing so, he blames China, who has a lot of influence over North Korea and with whom President Trump has gotten into a trade war. About 3 months later, talks between the U.S. and North Korea have essentially stalled, and some experts disclosed that they had found that North Korea was doing a lot of work on its ballistic missile program. As part of their research, they disclosed these satellite images of one of those undisclosed sites. About a month after Kim Jong-un had sent President Trump what was described as a conciliatory message to get talks back on track, President Trump and Secretary Mike Pompeo met with Kim Jong-un at the White House. Coming out of that meeting, they announced that there would be a second summit in February. But 3 days later, researchers disclosed yet another secret missile operating base in North Korea and say that there could be as many as 20 of these undisclosed bases, which throws into question how is the U.S. going to come to a deal with North Korea if North Korea is continuing to hide all of the different elements of its nuclear program. So what does all this mean for the next summit in February? What we do know is that people around the president and America's allies in the region are very worried that President Trump is going to get into his meeting with Kim Jong-un and essentially give away a lot more than he gets.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.